All right, we're on. um, all right, so uh, Batgoat, you're not viewing it on YouTube as well?
No, I do have YouTube open.
Okay, because it's only showing one. The count is only showing one person watch. Well, okay, now on YouTube it's saying two people, but um, on here it's saying one. So StreamYard might be being a little screwy then.
That could be.
Audio's fine though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Video's still kind of coming in and out.
Correct. Little choppy on the video, but audio is fine right now.
All right. I don't see any.
You're rolling now, so happy Friday.
Yep. As always, if you can like and share the stream to help see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated.
Just like that.
Yeah, I guess we gotta wait to see who else might show up.
Yeah. Give me a chance to open up a couple windows here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like to have the websites I like having those open. Let's see.
Yeah, so
I was over in the Krigler stream, like I always go to. I've told you about him before, and I dropped the little line about I'm going to the Mike Walters stream. So I've told you I've been doing that for the last few Fridays. When I go into Adam's stream, I say, "All right, everyone, I'm going to Mike Walters to co-host." And no one's come over from there, but maybe one day they will.
Yeah, and of course I'm still sending my invites to Tug.
Okay, cool. He'll come in again.
Yeah. Basically, I sometimes when I have actually talked to him about it, when we've actually exchanged about it, I'm hoping he's not just simply thinking that I want him to come into. I mean, that would be nice too, but if he just came in and hung out and chat, that would be fine too. I don't want him to feel like he has to be pressured to quote unquote perform or anything. I hope he understands that, because sometimes some of the exchanges we've had about it, I get the impression that he thinks that I want him to just come into the studio and commentate, and that's fine too. That'd be a bonus, but I'd just like him to watch it and see his comments in the chat.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But
he got. Did you see his video about him getting mass flagged?
Well, I saw the headline, but I didn't go watch it because I mean it's probably simply it's probably the same old thing. He probably put something on there they didn't like, and so it wasn't really news. You know what I mean?
Correct. He was repeating actual news about the case, that he likes talking about, and that was it during the live stream. He got hit hard, and so he got a channel strike. And he's like, he just made that video saying, "Can you believe this? This is what I talked about. This is news, but I can't talk about it for some reason." So, but it's the mass flaggers that those weirdos. They hit his channel and they hit it hard.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like, I mean, I still will watch some of his videos, but it's like, again, his like 85-90% of his content right now is all Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I get why he's passionate about it. I get the idea. Okay, due process. You shouldn't be able to just call somebody a predator or anything like that, and then have them guilt by the mob. Basically, I get that. But there comes a point in time when you've said everything that can be said about it, and you just have to sometimes just move on.
He's passionate though, because of what he does with his life, being not crisis worker, not social worker. What is he? He's like, he works with mental health, right?
He used to.
I
don't think he does anymore. I think YouTube has become his career right now.
Sure, which is good. But I just think, as far as like him having dealt with people in in all these rough situations, what she's talked about. Maybe there's something he takes a little personally, that if someone's has the confidence and the trust to talk to someone, and I don't know where I'm going with this, that maybe there's things like false memories and people, like there's really bad, horrible psychologists and whoever out there that elicit fake stories out of children and things like that. And that's been going on since forever. So I imagine that hits home with them. Like, as far as, again, I don't know what I'm saying. I think he takes it personally, and I can't verbalize why.
Take a quick breath, because we got a comment here. Woody's here.
I see that. Morning, hey, Wood.
Is this Mike Wallace? Looks more like Huntley and Brinkley.
Thank you. Good to see you, Woody.
Actually, it's Mike Walters, but you know that. Anyways, we'll be probably getting.
You know who Mike Wallace is, the CBS guy.
Okay. Yeah, his son works for Fox. Chris Wallace.
Yeah. Yes, Woody. We were talking about Tug. We were talking about Tug, and I was just saying, like, why I think this case is so important to him, having been someone who works with people in rough situations and having that confidence, and for that confidence to be strewn in a legal way, either side, pro or against victim, it's upsetting to him, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get it. But after a while, okay, I think we all pretty much know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from maybe talking about it, there's not really much we can really do about it. Okay.
Correct. That's how I felt about Vic too. I love Vic. He's a great guy. I hate what happened to him, but after a while, I'm like, shut up. I'm done. I'm not going to watch these videos every day.
Well, up until, like right now, there's not really much more in Vic's case really that can be talked about, because we're all still waiting on the appeal.
I know,
and then once we get the appeal, then there might be some stuff to talk about. But
of course there will be. Oh wow! Look, you see what? Go ahead and read what Woody just said.
All right. Well, he put a couple comments there. So, hey, I got chewed up in child court a long time ago. I bead to the Usenet. We created alt child support. Okay.
It's a news group. When you say alt, like how things used to work on the internet. People used to hang out in
I was one of the founding members. I eat people who were part of the...
I think that's a typo. I don't understand that.
Probably means hate. Were part of the 100 votes it took to make a news group back in the Usenet days. Also a charter member of rec.miscellaneous.pro wrestling. Okay.
Very cool, Woody. I personally, there was nothing wrong with my divorce. It went very easy. My ex was cool. And we used my lawyer. I paid for the lawyer. And she said, nope, you're not getting custody. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to fight you. So she got physical, but we had legal joint custody since there was no fight. So everything went fine. I'm sorry. I mean, some people get mad, but it was an okay divorce.
Well, at least you were still allowed to see your kids and stuff.
Oh yeah. In fact, she used to get mad. She'd be like, you got to come pick up the kids this month. I'm like, I can't. I'm working every other weekend, and I've got Navy this month, so I cannot come get the kids. Well, you have to. That's what the divorce papers say. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. So, like, go ahead and.
Yeah. So I'm actually one of the very earliest people to blate on the interweebs about dad's right stuff. So there.
Very cool, Woody. Good for you, brother. Thank you.
So I absolutely understand what Mr. Umbrella is, where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it's a completely bad thing what he's doing. Just as with anything in life, though, things are usually best done in moderation. You get too involved or too worked up, and it can have, you get too worked up on something, it can sometimes have more of a detrimental effect on you if you're not careful.
Sure, it seems personal, but both Woody and I are saying, like, we understand why. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah. We have this thing in common, kind of like having tens of thousands of dollars yanked out of your pocket leaves a mark. Yes, it does.
It does. It does.
I sure don't listen to any of it. I listened to Tug for the first 6 or 8 months he was on the air.
How long did I pay child support for? I'm gonna do some quick math here. Let's.
Yeah.
How old was Aaron? Aaron was 7 when, right? 2002.
Yeah, we got off on an interesting tangent here before we even getting into, and usually this is a day we try not to get too involved in the modern day stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so 11. I paid 11 years of child support, Woody, on 2. Well, that's how long I went, and let's see, it was 11 with Aaron, and then Maddie would have been 9 years. So 9 years of 2 kids on child support, and then 11 to when I finally made that last payment when Aaron turned 18. I'm like, all right, it's like a car. My kids are bought and paid for. It was wonderful.
Yeah, but that's kind of not such a nice way to put it, though.
I've said that in front of him. He gets it. He laughs. It's a joke. Yeah. I used to tell all my partners at work that, my medic partners, they thought it was funny too. I'm like, 3 more payments and those kids will be all mine.
Yeah. Let's see. But I sure don't listen to any. Oh, okay, yeah, we saw that. Rec.arts.pro wrestling. Anyways, okay, so we're almost 13 minutes into this. So you guys ready to get to some comics history?
Yeah, let's do it. I do have. I think we just have Woody right now, but that's cool. More people will come in. I've got Hangman, and I'm gonna make a word here in a second, so I'll let you know when we start playing if we need to.
Okay, and anything in regards to the Lowell's Trophy?
We still have the temporary Lowell's Trophy is here, so the game is on if everyone wants to play, and I know when Toys comes in, the game will be on, right?
Yep.
Woody's always good. I know Woody can throw out some good ones too.
Yeah. All right, so let's see now. And as always, everybody, as you know, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That does help with the audience. See if we can get some more friendly people. So if you guys are ready, I think it'd be a good time to get started on the history side of things.
All right. Crank it up.
All right. All right, so here we go. So this week we're gonna be covering Fiction House Publishing. In July of 1938, Jumbo Comics #1, which was Fiction House's first book, went on sale on newsstands. And of course, the probably the most well-known character from that company was Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. So we're gonna first off we're going to look at some of the early history here, and then we're gonna go read. We're gonna go read some selections from Jumbo #1. So, and I'll warn you now, there is some funky stuff when we do actually look at the book. So, okay. In terms of the look, not necessarily the stories, but the look of the book, the art and stuff. All right. So, anyways, Fiction House is an American publisher of pulp magazines and comic books that existed from the 1920s to the 1950s. Its comics division was best known for pinup style good girl art, as epitomized by the company's most popular character, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. Now, from what I understand, what they're talking about, pinup style, good girl art, it's basically, the type, pretty girl that you'd want to, pin up and put on, you want to pin up her picture, put her poster or whatever on your room wall or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
So Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, and I'm gonna, as I said, take a look at some of the just this first part here. We might come back to the second part at a later time once we probably get into the 40s a bit here. But anyways, this is pretty much the early days of Fiction House right here. Jumbo and Jack Kirby. So Jack Kirby, in case you guys don't know, is a very famous comic book artist. Was responsible for creating, the New Gods of DC, as well as Fantastic Four and Marvel. So he had a hand in that, I think, in terms of the art. So just to give you a little heads up there on that. So here we go. Fiction House began in the 1920s as a pulp magazine publisher of primarily aviation, western, and sports pulps, which we've seen a lot of in the early days of comic books here. By the 1930s, it had expanded into detective mysteries. Publisher Thurman T. Scott, whose Fiction House group included the pulp magazine imprints Glenn and Real Adventures Publishing Company, expanded into comic books in the late 19th and this is the cover right here of the book we're going to actually be looking at today. And originally the stories were in black and white.
Okay, you see the picture I got there? I've got an example of good girl pinup art.
All right. Well, take a quick peek at that then. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Actually, I think I saw something like that a while ago too. That was. Anyways, back to the history there. All right. So expanded into comic books in the late 1930s, and as I was showing you, this right here is Jumbo Comics #1 right here. This is the cover right here. The stories inside of it were in black and white, but I said the particular copy we'll be reading from pretty funky, but you'll see that when we get there.
Okay.
Let's see. When that emerging medium began to seem a viable adjunct to the fading pulp. So I guess they were saying that the pulp was starting to lose popularity as comic books started to become more and more available. That's interesting. Receptive to the sales call by Eisner and Iger, Will Eisner and S.M. Iger. Will Eisner's another famous comic book artist.
As in the Eisner Award, right?
Right.
Not Michael Eisner, the jerk that made Disney so popular.
Yeah. No, this is Will Eisner, who was a longtime comic book writer. Anyway, one of the prominent packagers of that time who produced complete comic books on demand for publishers looking to enter the field. Scott released Jumbo Comics #1, September 1930. Now, as I told you, what they say September 1930. That's the cover date. That's the cover date. Okay. July. It went on sale in July. So just a little heads up there. And, I always remind you guys of that. Okay. So Fiction House star Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, appeared in that initial issue. Will Eisner and S.M. Jerry Iger had created the leggy, leopard-wearing jungle goddess for the British magazine Wags. That's interesting. That has a very interesting intonation there.
What, the magazine Wags?
Yeah. Because there are a few things that guys might wag when they see a pretty girl, right?
Okay. I've never heard of it like that, but like wagging a tail?
Yeah, kind of like that. Or wagging your tongue.
Oh, yeah, okay.
under the joint pseudonym W. Morgan Thomas. Fiction House's other features in that initial foray included the period adventure Hawks of the Sea, continuing a story from Quality Comics Feature Funnies number 12 after Eisner and Iger and Quality had a falling out. Let's see. And several now obscure strips, Peter Pup, ZX. Of course, we will be reading some of these. ZX5, Spies in Action, Spencer Steele, Spectre Dayton. These include 3 by future industry legend Jack Kirby, representing the first comic book work following his debut in Wild Boy magazine. The science fiction feature The Diary of Dr. Hayward, under the pseudonym Kurt Davis. The modern West crime fighter strip Wilson of the West as Fred Sand, and part 1 of the swashbuckling serialization of Alexander Dumas Perez, The Count of Monte Cristo, as Jack Curtis, each 4 pages long. And that's all we're going to read on that, because the next part, I think, talks more about when they get into like the 40s and stuff. So, so as I said, I was just reading that particular part right there.
Okay.
So now we'll get into actually reading the actual reading the actual comic as soon as I get to it. And as I said, some parts of it are going to look kind of funky.
Funky Cold Medina.
Yeah. Little Tone Loc there.
Mm-hmm. Do they give you a BOGO on what, Woody? I know that was in relation to what Mike was talking about, but from a few minutes ago.
A BOGO? What is he talking about there?
Buy one, get one.
Oh.
Most supermarket stores you walk in is BOGO, and they'll have,
Well, in terms of what's he asking? Buy one, get one.
I don't know. It must have been in relation to something you were talking about, because I missed it when he first typed it.
Yeah.
I have a word for. I do have a word for hangman. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters.
5 letters.
Correct. And we all know the theme. I don't even have to say it. Okay.
Well, had to remind myself of what I was doing.
Okay, sorry.
No problem. Well, we're at the 23-minute mark already. How are things going with the video and audio back there?
Audio's good, but you're still choppy. It's like I say, every few seconds, it's just hanging up the video.
Right. So here's the cover of Jumbo Comics number 1, Bigger, Better, Funnies. How is the share screen looking? Is that being choppy as well, or is that
share screen is fine? Share screen is working great, so that's cool. And like I say, your audio is good. You're not robo or chopping anything like that. It's just the video's hanging up, so it's not too big of a deal.
All right. So you got here Hawk to the Sea right there. Then Peter Pup. And then you got Sheena all along the left side there. Spencer Steele down here. Pee Wee, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Bobby, ZX5. I think this is another character.
Okay, the Sheena I know, Tanya Roberts from that 80s in the movie, like I told you about before, much heighter than what I'm seeing right there. Just saying.
But she looks pretty good for that time period too.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't see what would be wrong with it, but
I don't think she looks all that hot.
Big pages, big pictures, big type, easy to read. So this is what they called an oversized Hello, kids. Greeting from Jumbo Jim. Jumbo says hiya. So here's grab your hats. Hold on tight. Here we go. You want comics with fun, adventure, thrills, laughs, puzzles, stories, and prizes? And you can take your Uncle Jumbo Jim's word for it. Boys and girls, you'll find them in Jumbo Comics, a prize package if ever you've seen one. It has everything you want: big pages, big clear pictures, big type, easy to read, a big magazine, and a whale of a big dime's worth. As we all
It's
know,
big.
yeah.
I'm thinking that they're trying to get the point across that this is a big magazine.
Well, this was classified by what they called an oversized type issue. In other words, this, I think, for the time period it was in, it actually was a bigger magazine than what would have been considered the standard size of that time period.
Sure, and they're getting it out there, which is good. I mean, that's what you do in advertising.
Yeah. And speaking of prizes, can you draw pictures and make up a joke? How would you like to see one of your cartoons or one of your funny gags printed in a future issue of Jumbo Comics? See, now there's something cool. How they would try to get kids involved, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you
Oh,
see? Could you see little Batgoat getting into that?
into comics?
Yeah. Or if you saw that as a kid, would you consider something like that?
Oh, I remember always reading advertisements as a kid and just kind of looking and laughing and critiquing. But you got to remember, my stepdad was a kind of a famous advertising director, so I knew what commercials were from a very young age. He wrote a book. It's on Amazon. It's called Madman by Don Spector.
Okay. Let's see. Anyways, were you about to say something, or because it sounded like you hummed there for like you were about to say something? So
No. Just that I adding on to what you were saying, like, would that interest you? But again, I looked at things differently even as a kid.
yeah. Okay. Well, boys and girls, just turn to page 56 and I'll tell you how you can do it and get paid for it too. Fair enough? Kind of very similar to some of the other, little promos that you would do back then.
Oh, Mike, I didn't see how would you like to see one of your cartoons or one of your funny gags? I'm sorry. As far as that, yeah, that would be cool. Every kid wants to, like, hey, I'm going to draw a picture and it's going to get published. Yeah, that's a cool idea for sure.
Actually, I know. I think MeTV with their Tune In With Me, they do that at the end of their show. They'll actually will show people's, artwork. If people send in like cartoons or whatever.
Everyone loves that. With the Good Morning America with the birthdays, right? The 100, when anyone have their 100th birthday.
Right.
What's his name? Would always wish him a happy birthday.
Wilfred Scott.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, be seeing you, kids. I am sure you'll like Jumbo Comics, and I hope you'll come to see me and my gang in the next issue. Watch for number 2 on your newsstand. So long and good fun, Jumbo Jim. And I guess that's Jumbo Jim right there. Clown with an elephant. Okay, so continue on here. I have an idea for at least 3 of the stories I want to hit, and then maybe after we get to those. See, this is what I was talking now. Originally this was in black. Originally this was in black and white, but this is what I was talking about right here when I said it was some of it.
It has a strange hue to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know if that was deliberate, but I can still see the word. I can still make out the word.
Yeah.
It's for some of these pages though, it just kind of looks off.
Yeah, we can certainly read it though.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, there are like 3 specific stories that I want to make sure I want to get to first, and then with time remaining, we'll go back and probably try to catch some of the others.
Cool.
So, but there were like three specific. Here we go. Here's the first of the stories. I'll increase the font here a little bit to make sure that I can really get into it. All right. Well, maybe that's a little. Let's see how we go back down about 50. All right. The Diary of Dr. Hayward by Kurt Davis, a.k.a. Jack Kirby. In the world of science, a long-forgotten name comes to the light of mortal beings. The name is Chromo. Once a brilliant mind respected by men, suddenly the scientist returned, his face horribly deformed, his mind twisted. Stuart Taylor, a young scientist, falls prey to Chromo. The young fool is still unconscious. Ah, what a magnificent specimen. Chromo? You? Yes, Taylor. It is I, Chromo, who will soon evict your soul and leave your body an empty shell for my intelligence to occupy. Now to proceed with the experiment and new life. Stuart Taylor's body will be a perfect disguise. Then I will make a girl pay a terrible price. Oh, this guy sounds evil, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope I'm getting that evil voice down.
Yep.
Listen, Chromo, I'll find a way out of this, and when I do, I'll tear you to bits. That's a classic old way of saying it. I'll tear you to bits.
Tear you to bits. Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. People did used to say that.
Growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Unmindful of Taylor's threat, Chromo begins the experiment. Dr. Hayward, Stuart's been away for quite a time. Do you think something might have happened? Maybe you're right. I'll phone the police. Never mind the call. I think he's here now. Oh wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Someone's at the door. It must be Stuart. Never mind. Never mind the call. I think he's here now. Oh, Stuart. I thought you'd never get here. Yeah, well, you haven't but is that really Stuart though?
That's what I'm wondering.
No. Because if it's what I think it is, this is another example of something that would be quite would be quite a common story plot for around this time period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we'll continue on and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Stuart Taylor, whose body now harbors the soul of Chromo. Okay, so I guess we were right there then. That's what I was saying.
It's been answered.
Yeah. Has just arrived at the home of Dr. Hayward. Hello, Stuart. Tell us what happened. Where's Chromo? Chromo will never bother us again. When I tried to capture him, there was a struggle and he fell into a tank of acid, which dissolved his entire body. That's quite grotesque. Of course, isn't well. Of course, it didn't dissolve Jack Napier's body when he became the Joker.
That's true.
I'll tell you the whole story after I've dressed for dinner. Stuart is behaving. Stuart is behaving very strangely. Something is wrong. I can feel it. I'm sorry I startled you, darling. Shall we go in to dinner? Why, Stuart! I'm mixing up the dialogue there a little bit. After dinner, Laura and Dr. Hayward listened to the trumped up details of Chromo's supposed death. Trump was even popular back then, wasn't he?
Yep. Look at that. They went back in time to blame Trump. Of course.
Of course, we know what the actual term means there, but
Trump up charges. Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. I was too late to save him. He toppled into the acid vat and died horribly. The trio then retired to their rooms. Laura is preparing for bed. That was a term that was used a lot back then for when you said you would go to bed. Retire.
Mm-hmm. Retire for the evening.
That was a common term back throughout not just the 30s, but well into the 50s, maybe even early 60s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Before people started saying "go to bed" as opposed to "retire to bed." But it's kind of fun to see how language has changed over time, huh, Batgoat?
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes for better, but I think overall though for worse. You know?
Yeah.
One of the things I've talked about how it seems like today people seem to need to use swear words to try to get their point across, like every other word or two.
All the time. Flash was just talking about that on a video. Some dummy was saying something, and he goes, it's talking about that Hassan guy, and he's like, well, I'll play this video, but he swears a lot, and he's like, you know what, the lefties or whoever thinks that the more you swear, the more intelligent you are. There was even some made up article on BuzzFeed about people that are more intelligent use more swear words. They actually lie. You know how we all know that they lie, and they print it up as truth. And so they claim, the weirdo lefty thugs claim, that the more you swear, the smarter you are.
Yeah, right.
I know, right? To not swear, actually, for me, to not swear, I have to think. It makes no sense.
Well, you know how I am.
You don't like swearing.
Yeah. Well, again, because as you just said, I'm of the same mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make you sound smart. It makes you sound stupider.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree, 100%. I'm sorry to disrupt there, but
no, that's okay. I mean, again, I kind of went off track here.
Yeah, little side thing on language. Yeah, that's cool.
But that's one of the things one of the things that I like to look at or talk about when we look back on history, on comics history, how language was used back then as compared to now. You know,
and media in general, right? No one's there. Did not use foul language in the movies and TV and print. I mean, that was just
because back then, Grant, I know you have your issues with a few of the older stars as well, because you felt they were hardcore lefties, but at the very least, they communicated more appropriately than a lot of the actors do today.
I agree. I totally agree with that. Yeah, politics aside, society was different, and people followed rules, and
people were more classy back then.
Yes.
You could actually agree to disagree.
Yes.
So, anyways, let's get back to this story.
Rock on.
The door behind her opens slowly as she stares in surprise at the mirror. Laura does not suspect that she is addressing Chromo, whose mad brain governs Stuart's body. Stuart, what's the meaning of this?
I think I know what he's got on his mind.
Well, Stuart, I'm waiting an explanation of your unmannerly conduct.
Speaking of societal norms.
Uh-huh. I mean, that was... Let's see. Why so upset, Laura? I only dropped in to say goodnight. Oh, Stuart, why do you act this way? It isn't like you at all. Chromo gazes intently at the girl through Stuart's eyes. Suddenly, he clasps her in his arms in a fierce embrace. Oh boy. Take your hands off that girl. Chromo, but it can't be. Doctor, this is Stuart. You're wrong, child. That is Stuart's body, but the soul mirrored in those eyes belongs to Chromo. I knew he would show his hand. That's why I waited till now. Unseen by Dr. Hayward, Chromo advances toward him with a candle stick gripped in his right hand. And I know some people might say, well, why would he have a candle in it? Well, maybe to burn him, maybe? See what happens. But doctor, this is some horrible mistake. I am Stuart. I can explain it all. Chromo strikes with the speed of a cobra, delivering a smashing blow to the doctor's head. You meddling old fool.
Oof.
Look at that.
Pow.
Stuart, he's dead. Dr. Hayward is dead. You've killed him. It seems that way, doesn't it? Laura is shocked at this cold-blooded remark. She stares at Stuart. His eyes are aglow with an unholy light. They seem to possess life of their own. It sounds quite ominous, doesn't it, Beck?
Mm-hmm.
It is uncanny the way those eyes burn like bright red ovals, while the face is pale and expressionless. Laura has seen those cruel eyes before. Chromo! Chromo, it is you! The horror-stricken girl looks for an avenue of escape. Suddenly she notices the doctor's automatic. With lightning speed, Laura grasps the weapon tightly and points it at the menacing Chromo. Menacing. See
Menacing.
How they use that word?
Yeah.
Menacing.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely a menace. He just killed a dude.
Right. Well, yeah, I know, but my point being just how they use the word back then.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, it fits though. That's what I'm saying. It fits. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
like Corn Pop, he's a bad dude.
Don't move. Another step, Chromo, or I'll be forced to shoot you. Oh no, you will not shoot me, my dove. If you kill me, you will not only dispose of old, crippled, and disfigured Chromo, but you will kill the body of tall, strong, and handsome Stuart Taylor. Now, drop that play toy before it becomes dangerous.
I just thought of something funny.
Yeah. He slapped it out. It looked like he slapped the gun out of her hand there.
Yeah, I just thought of something funny from the Dave Chappelle show.
You want to share?
Is Wayne Brady going to have to slap a bitch? It's a very famous line. Very funny.
Yeah. I think I've heard variations of that line before.
Yeah, he made that famous.
Unfortunately, that is kind of a crude remark, though, because
it is, but it's hilarious. And I mean, the sketch was Wayne Brady was this gangster,
right? And as I said, when you swear, it makes you sound dumber, not smarter. You know, which is why it's funny.
Yes, right? yes.
Well, my dear, I have the play toy now. I'll just hold it for safekeeping so it won't go off and hurt somebody. My plan is working to perfection. Dr. Hayward is where he won't bother me. And as for you, dear, I have plans for both of us. Oh, he's menacing her, all right. But this has been a trying night for you, my love. You are tired, or so very tired. You must rest. Your eyelids grow heavy. You must sleep. Sleep. Again, those burning, soul-piercing eyes advance, becoming larger and larger until they seem to fill the entire room with their unholy radiance. Pleasant dreams, darling. Ha 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 ha. Laura's brain is enveloped in a gray fog, which becomes blacker until she seems to float in a sea of endless black. Now that's quite descriptive. That is quite descriptive of going to sleep.
Yep.
That is, wow.
They sure liked hypnotism as any bad guy could hypnotize anyone at any time.
Even though it's probably not, in reality, it's probably not quite as easy as...
In real life, not even half the people out there can get hypnotized. It's not that easy to do. Like the stage guys and stuff. It's a complicated, weird thing.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think for people like for those of us on the spectrum, I don't know if it'd be considered we could get hypnotized only because our minds are just so active that there's no way you could really get us to even slow down a lot of times.
And I'm like you on that. I would not get hypnotized. My brain's going too quick.
Yeah. With the girl's limp form in his arms. What?
Welcome to the show, Toys. Good to see you. Happy Friday.
Toys, he came in with a joke. Hey, Toys, how you doing, man?
Came in with a joke, as only Toys can do.
Yeah. Laugh aloud. How do you get a nurse to blush? Have the doctor forget to close the room door and action standing there naked. Okay. Okay. Good evening.
See ya.
Yeah. Yeah, he came in, and as always, if you guys can help out with likes and shares, that would be appreciated. See if we can get some more friendly people in here. Hope you guys are enjoying the content thus far. This story looks like a pretty good story, eh, Batgoat?
Mm-hmm. Right. There's already been a murder in it, so I mean, it's pretty serious.
Yeah. With the girl's limp form in his arms, Chromo heads for the garage. Meanwhile, the still form of Dr. Hayward stirs slightly and slowly, rights itself into a sitting position. What did you just say, Batgoat?
Good. I was hoping I was wrong because I'm like, this thing is named after him. How can he be dead? But she
Yeah,
said he was
especially
dead.
if this is only like the first story or part of the first story. I mean,
Right. Yeah. Real short life for a hero.
Okay. Speak again, Batgoat.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, but just say a few words real quick.
Oh, about Mr. Haywood.
Just
not
anything.
being dead. Not being dead. Okay. I was looking at a comment that Toy said that was funny.
Okay. For a moment there, you kind of went audio choppy. That's why I wanted you to say that. But
now it's on both ends. Yeah, now it's on both ends. I hear it in your voice a little bit too. So
yeah, so this thing's acting up for some reason. But anyways, well, how's everything now?
Seems okay. Keep going.
All right. Okay. So, anyways, getting back to the story here. My head. My head. Oh, let her go, Chromo. Laura, look out. It is the purring of an automobile motor that brings Dr. Hayward to his feet. Automobile as opposed to car, right?
Mm-hmm.
The use of language. He staggers to the porch in time to see Chromo driving off with the sleeping girl. And that was it. Oh, Uncle Otto, that was the guy who was diving around on the yeah. As I said, we'll come back to some of these other stories, but there are a few that I really wanted to get to. That one was the first one. Here's another one. Now, this is one of the more, this is probably the most famous story in this book. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle by W. Morgan Thomas, aka Will Eisner and Mort Meskin. So
Sheena is famous, and like I've said before, I know you don't know this film, but it was a big deal for me in the '80s when Tanya Roberts went topless in that movie. It's a great movie. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna increase the font a little bit here, make it a little easier, because this haze here or whatever this stuff is does kind of.
It almost looks like aging, like a yellowing aging, but that would mess up the print. So it can't be that. It's just something happened.
It's almost like somebody spilt something on it, but it looks a little too.
My guess is it's in the capture somehow. The capture, whoever's camera or computer, whatever, just did that.
Yeah, but it doesn't affect all the pages. Some of the pages are still in black and white.
Yeah, that's the weird thing.
Why are some like this and some not? Then, if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's get to this. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle by W. Morgan Thomas. In search of the mysterious Sheena, Bob Reynolds and Professor Van Dyke become separated. Alone, Bob is attacked by Sheena's guards. Too weary to lift his gun, Bob is captured and disarmed. Bob tries to make her understand that he is a friend. Quite an interesting look. A one-strap one piece up top there. Huh?
Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of that look, though, the cave woman outfit.
Apparently unable to understand English, Sheena ignores Bob's words and heads deep into the jungle to her mysterious empire. After 2 days of weary confinement, Bob is joined by Van Dyke. It's good to see you again, Bob, and I see very well considering the loss of my glasses. It's strange. We came to find Sheena, but instead she found us. I hope we can make her understand we're friendly. How did she come here? Why and how did she become queen over these fierce natives? I've been here 2 days, and all I know is that she's young and very beautiful. But I'm going to find out everything right now. Bob steals out of the hut towards the unsuspecting guard. That's an interesting way to use the word steal. Batgoat,
Steal away?
yeah. You want to explain that for everybody?
How
How it's being used there?
To steal away? I don't know. Steal away. I just know that phrase, to steal away, to bust out, to leave, right?
Let's see. But Bob steals out of the hut towards the. So I would say, like, yeah, leaves could be one way. Maybe.
I just remember that song from the 70s. Why don't we steal away? Steal
Yeah.
away into the night.
Yeah. So it could be well. Even in that, then, if you think about it, maybe it's not just simply leave. Maybe it's also sneak away.
Sneak away. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Good call. Yeah.
And claps his hand over the guard's mouth, stifling his cry. Stifle. We grew up watching a particular show that used that word a lot. You remember?
No.
All in the Family. You remember what Archie used to tell Edith a lot?
Mm-mm.
Stifle it.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't remember that. Okay.
On at least a couple of occasions, he told her to stifle it.
I don't remember that. That's cool though.
A moment later, a quick blow drops the black in a heap. Okay. I'm going to try to make her cave without being seen. All right, I'm going to try to make her cave without being seen.
So, 1985, Sheena, Queen of the Jungle with Tanya Roberts. Like I said, I loved it. Gen Xers like me growing up, that it was great. But it cost $25 million to make, and back then that was a lot. It grossed 5.7 million worldwide, so it was not a success.
Whoa. Yeah. Bob knocks out the guard stationed at his hut and heads for the cave in which Sheena holds court. Van Dyke follows. That must be the cave. Keep low, and we'll be seen before we reach it. Like fleeting shadows, the pair run from cover to cover. They finally reach the mouth of the cave. Breathless with running, they pause to take account. They speak in a strange tongue. It's it's a remnant of an almost forgotten language used in these parts years ago. Slowly, both men enter the bright room, hue, out of rock and amid a wid by um, primitive splendor. They pause and gaze at the sight.
Toys is cracking me up. Sorry.
Suddenly, a cry goes up as the presence of the prisoners becomes known. On Sheena's command, several natives rush forward to seize Bob and Van Dyke.
They got some funky hairstyles there.
They aren't. It's not like they're living in a city where they need to be what would be considered presentable for that time period.
No, I know, but it looks like they're wannabe 80s punk rockers.
But she's got some nice flowing blonde hair there.
Yeah.
Instantly, Professor Van Dyke raises both of his hands and shouts above the clamor in the strange language of the natives. Kumulta! Or Kumultai! At this, the attackers stop in their tracks, bewildered at the sound of a white man shouting "friend" in their native tongue. Only one at the far end of the cave, near the throne, draws his bow. And Meskin right there, that I believe is the artist. See Meskin's signature there in the left-hand corner of that last picture.
Yeah.
My guess is this might be the last page of this particular strip, but we'll see in a moment. No, I guess not. I guess just simply
okay.
Okay. Bob and Van Dyke finally manage to escape from their prison and enter the throne room of the mysterious Sheena. Their entrance causes a great disturbance, and a warrior raises his bow to kill them.
Are these like jungle, like native people that would be in a jungle that usually aren't white, and they've got this shocking Bart Simpson blonde 80s rad guy hairdo? I'm trying not to make it sound racist, but it just, the hair looks out of place with what those people would look like normally. Just,
well, I mean, again, so I think when most people think of jungles, right?
mm-hmm.
We think of African jungles.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know, I think, and it would make sense because Africa, you know, maybe the northern third of it above the equator, and at least the middle third of it just below the equator.
Mm-hmm.
So it would make a certain amount of sense that the natives might be darker skinned.
Mm-hmm.
That's not racist, and anybody who says it's racist is an idiot.
I know, but there's so many idiots out there. I want to protect you and not say anything that would get you in trouble, or just, you know, I'm just trying to be mindful, as we all have to be these days with how crazy the world is.
And I just reasoned it for you.
You did. Thank you very much. You got me out of that.
And I just reasoned it for you to where you don't have now. If you need to say something about jungle and all that, now you have the justification and to where you're not going to sound racist. And after the explanation I just gave, if people still call you a racist or try to say that I'm a racist for saying that, then they're the idiots.
Correct.
So
correct. And also look at this dude. He's wearing like $300 Calvin Klein underwear. Look at those polka dots. I mean, that's some high fashion stuff right there.
Yeah, but I think they had more of that kind of stuff back then, so I don't think it was quite a high fashion
leopard skin thing, right? Yeah. I'm just being joking. I'm joking. Yeah. Oh, hey, Cross. Good to see you.
Hey, Cross. If you can remind Chris that we're on right now. We're going over Sheena, Queen of the Jungle right now. You guys might want to come check that out. If you can let Chris and some of the other guys know, drop in. They'd always be welcome. How you doing, man? Hopefully all is well with you. Anyway, so we're just past the hour mark now.
Yeah.
Sheena voices a stern command. Aguali tua. Wait. I'm sorry. Got to make that sound a little bit more feminine.
Sheena.
Yeah. Maguali tua. Not.
Tito, Jermaine, Latoya.
Sometimes trying to make it sound feminine and affirmative can be quite a trick to pull off.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Mike, you see, Cross just said Chris is in Maine getting ready for a con tomorrow.
Okay, because I saw that. Well, yeah, I saw that. I guess he's going to be streaming later or something like that. I saw some kind of notification earlier. That's why I had said that. So I didn't know how. I guess he's going to still try to do the Tism Schism tonight. And you guys, if he is on, you guys might want to come check that out as well afterwards.
What channel is that?
That's on Chris T's channel.
And what's the channel name?
I think Chris T. Hero Shack.
Okay.
In fact, hold on. Let me grab something here. Okay, that's cool. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm gonna open something.
Cross just said he did 5 minutes stream.
Oh, did he already? So Cross, did he already do the Tism Schism?
I think that's what he's saying, that he just did a 5 minute, like a small one.
All right. Yeah, on my thing here, it's telling. Oh yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Okay, cool.
Because I just checked it now. I was about to go grab it and link it. So, all right. Well, hopefully, yeah. Okay.
Thanks for the info.
Yeah. So, anyways, well, hopefully, at least we can get some more people in here. I think they'd love. I think they'd like the story.
It's Sheena rules.
The archer drops his arms obediently, but scowls at the approaching white men.
Well, and there we go. Now it's been answered for me. So we know that he is not white. He's not white. He's black.
Yeah. Anyway. Amazing. She has complete control over these natives. She's beautiful. Beautiful.
I think it's more amazing that the one guy's shirtless and has no nipples.
Can you repeat that? Because you kind of cracked there for a moment.
I think it's more amazing that the one guy is shirtless and has no nipples.
Let's see. Kubalai mon moi Sheena ka multi.
Gunga de Lungala.
They pause before the platform. At this point, an old man steps forward. Am I the witch doctor? Sheena will not condescend to speak to you. All right. Oh, okay. All right. I am the witch doctor. Sheena will not condescend to speak to you.
All right.
We are friends, repeats Van Dyke in the native language. Very, very well, replies the witch doctor. I will try to believe you. You may feast with me. I told the witch doctor I was in love with you. I told the witch doctor I was. Ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah. Ding, dang, walla, ding, dang.
Ding, dang, walla, walla, bing, bang.
Little Alvin and the Chipmunks there.
I love that song.
Yeah. Yeah, and you remember there was a cartoon. Well, actually, there were two cartoons. There was one back in the early 60s, the Alvin Show.
Yeah.
And then there was the one in the 80s, Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Alvin and the Chipmunks. Yeah, I grew up on that.
Yeah, that was one I grew up on, too.
Yeah.
Alvin, Simon,
Theodore!
We're
the Chipmunks.
And they, of course, came up with the Chipettes as well for that.
Yeah, I love the Chipmunks. You know, the family that owns the IP is selling it now for, I think, $300 million.
I was not aware of that, but they
Yeah,
had that.
I heard that on Clownfish.
Yeah. The Bagdasians or what?
Bagdasarians or something like that. Yeah, they want to sell it now for $300 million or $130 million. I just remember Neon on Clownfish going, you know, we could get a low, and Geeky's like, shut up, you're not buying the Chipmunks.
Anyways, back to the story here. The three subsequently sit down to a large meal as the evening wears on. Prodded by Van Dyke, the witch doctor agrees to reveal the history of the tribe. Puffing meditatively at his pipe, the old what?
Yeah, it's peace pipe. I know what's in there.
Yeah.
Medicine.
Yeah. The kind you use sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. The old conjurer begins his strange tale. The witch doctor begins his tale. Many centuries ago, the Tartars swept down from the barren plains of the Gobi. And I do actually remember hearing about the Tartars in history class.
And the Gobi Desert is indeed in Africa.
So again, you can't. Well, here's a map of the old world at the time. There's Africa, Arabia,
Arabia.
Yeah. India, China. When the wild conquerors reached Samarkand, they halted, and many clans left the main horde to roam and pillage on their own. One party, once allied to the great Genghis Khan, in his early conquest, rode southwest, finding the climate warm and pleasing. They pushed forward, and sweeping all before them, they entered Africa. So I guess that dotted line right there must be the route they took.
Yeah, and my bad. Gobi Desert is in Asia. It's in China.
Oh, Mongolia. Look at that.
Yeah. I said Africa, and I was way wrong. I
guess the rain's down in Africa. Little Toto right there.
That song is very 80s. As much as I like hate it, it's still like I can listen to it because it's so 80s.
Yeah, but soon their fortunes changed. Instead of the merciless, hard riding conquerors, they now became hunted. Heat and disease killed off half the party. Savages and other mishaps reduced the once imposing horde. To a handful of broken men, constantly driven, they at last reached this very valley.
Hidden Valley.
Oh.
Hidden Valley Ranch.
Oh. Okay. It said this very valley, but I guess you were adding something to that.
Yeah, Hidden Valley Ranch. I don't know why I thought that, but again, we know my brain is weird.
A horde of Mongols at last reached a hidden valley. Here they sought a haven from the slow death dealt by the African tropics.
It is Hidden Valley.
It just didn't say it at that point yet.
Mm-hmm.
Gathering what was left of his soldiers, the leader guided the delighted men into the cool valley. But even this land was not for the asking. Hundreds of natives issued from the thickets and set upon the Tartars. Now they got the wild hairdos, but with the tribal mask.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Now again, the men from the north were conquerors, for driven by the desire to take the valley. They fight as they have never fought before. Look at that! Look at that guy falling right there.
Mm-hmm.
Archers, you got all kinds of stuff going on here.
You got the Bart Simpson gang.
You're the Bart man. Victorious in their efforts, they proceed to settle down, mixing with the natives who had been captured. The Mongols begin to propagate their own race. Here in the village that alone survives, the little empire they created are relics of the Oriental civilization they brought with them from Persia and other countries through which they swept. But what about Sheena? All right, I'm sorry. But what about Sheena? Bob asked the witch doctor. That is another story, replies the old conjurer, which I shall now tell you.
After a word from our sponsors. Go down to Crazy Fufu's hut on Saturday to get a free piercing, to get a free bone through your nose. Okay, now I'm being off color. I'm sorry.
No problem. All right, excuse me a moment. I got to go. I don't know if my nephew's still here, so I got to go check, see what Chloe's doing. So I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, who's here? Well, Woody knows this. I do have a word. I have a word for hangman. It is 5 letters. I also, if while we're waiting, I'll show you. On Wednesday, I didn't make it home in time to catch the tail end of the show. But on Wednesday, we took second place in game 1 for trivia. And I'm just going to show you real quick. These are notes. These are typical notes that since I'm the captain, I take these home. I've got like about 8 nights worth of notes now that I'm going to scan into my computer. Oh, wow. 2-pointer. So, oops, sorry about that. On Wednesday, we had a tiebreaker, and it was a math question. Look at my horrid math. I was trying to do this, and you don't have a lot of time, right? I'm like, the question was how many days to right now from the Salt Lake City Olympics? And it was just me and David. We only had half our team. We're like, crap, okay, when was that? And I'm like, it's 96. He goes, all right, let's figure it out from that. The team we were going against, they thought 96 as well. And then a couple of our friends, they're bartenders at the place, but they were off. They were standing next to our table, and they were kind of talking with us. And they said, Adam goes, no, dude, it was 2000. I remember this. I was a little kid back then. And I'm like, all right, cool, sweet. We'll take that. So we figured 2000. We're like, let's just figure 20 years. And so I tried to do 20 by 365, and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I couldn't. It'd been so long since I'd done long multiplication. I'm like, David goes, do it by 10. Just half that. Go by 10. So we can do 3,600 and then double that. All right, 7,200. So we put 7,200, and that was it, right on the nuts. It had been 20 years to the day. So that was an impressive win. We were happy with ourselves. All right, there's that subject. Put a check mark next to it. Any guesses? Any letters? Mike's back, so.
Well, I'll let you finish your little thing there, real quick, and then we'll get back to the story.
I just finished my little story, and if no one's guessing hangman letters, then it's cool. Go for it.
All right. So let's get back to the story then. Yeah, I did also check to see if my nephew was around, but he apparently is not. So, all right. So, anyways, yeah, we just read that, I believe. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, and I guess that's the end of that chapter. So
okay.
So let's see. So there's one more thing I wanted to read, and then we'll see where we're at. So this is the other thing I wanted to read here, because this title in of itself was interesting to me, kind of caught my attention, probably because it involves a young lady, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Hilda Gay, the modern girl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, what kind of one of the things that kind of sparked my interest in this page right here is, okay, so what was a modern girl in July? What was considered a modern girl in July of 1938? So why don't we go ahead and take a look at this and see what that may be.
And if I can add gay, they're putting the name gay there. So let's not think 21st century. Let's not even think latter half of the 20th century. Let's think early 20th century. And gay meant not only happy, but in a lot of the old movies I've watched and Mystery Science Theater and stuff like that, hey, the gay nightlife, we're going to have gay old time. They used to sing on Flintstones. Right. That meant that people were partying and drinking, and men and women were hooking up. That's what a gay nightlife, gay times meant back then. So it was the opposite of what we think now.
Right, exactly. That's one of the other things about this too, is like, we'll have a gay old time.
Correct.
Yep. Flintstones. Mm-hmm. And then Gay Paris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gay Paris was a lot of men and women having fun in the nightlife. Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's get to this. Gosh, Gilda, this is the 10th time I've asked you to marry me, and you always put me off. Well, I've got to be sure a man must love me even when I'm old.
Good point.
Golly, must I wait as long as that?
Okay.
Gilda, Gilda gags. When a girl wears a heart on her sleeve, she is sounding a call to arms.
That's
Okay.
that's good.
I think I kind of get that. Do you?
I get it too, but like you always bring up, you have to be familiar with how people talked back then and called on, and
Yeah. Oh, and I just saw something that I didn't even pick up on when I just read the panel before that. There's an exclamation point.
yeah,
Uh, she's like no words, just the exclamation point. Like I guess it's supposed to mean,
like,
huh?
huh? Yeah, huh?
But Gilda, darling, I love you, adore you. Will you be my wife? Gosh, Buster, this is so sudden. Why the big hurry? We've just met. I know, but I gotta catch a train in 3 minutes. Look at her face.
They're going for
Look
the
at her
one-liners
face.
here. Yeah,
Here's another Gilda.
she's doing just the blank staring into the camera when something bad happens, and the people are going. That's the joke. Is
Oh,
someone
the
having a
Gilda.
flat?
Are you talking about the Gilda gags? Or you
No. I'm talking about her. You got to catch the train
the
in three
last
minutes for
panel
the
we just
punchline.
read? The
Yes,
last panel that we just read.
and so her flat affect looking at source is just what I'm trying to say. It's
Yeah, I
common.
think I
It's
get.
common
I
these
think.
days.
Yeah, I
Very,
think I
very
get what
common
you.
these days.
Oh. Advice to brides: you can usually cure hubby's snoring by kindness, good advice, friendly cooperation, and stuffing an old sock in his mouth.
That's pretty
uh,
good. That's
yeah,
pretty good. I like her.
yeah, she's kind of spunky.
She's got some spunk. She's good.
Gilda, I'd kind of like to ask you something personal. Yes, what is it, George? Have you ever thought of taking a husband? Husband? No, I have 3 pets, which answer the purpose quite as well. Ah, let's see. A dog that growls, a parrot that swears, and a cat that stays out all night.
That's good.
And then the guy kind of has a question mark, like what?
That's good. I like
uh,
that.
well, yeah, it's kind of funny too. Is that's not where I thought it was going. I thought she just simply meant for the companionship, but I guess this is supposed to be more. I can see the humor now, though.
No,
You know,
she's insulting men. I love it. This is great. This is women's lib, like more power to the girl power in the 30s. It's awesome.
yeah, and not really quite as nasty though as it is today.
Correct.
I mean, she's affirming who she is. She's affirming herself, but
Hmm.
she's not doing it in like a very nasty or destructive way. It's like she's saying it just enough to let the guy know, okay, dude, you're annoying. Get away from me. But she's not like out to destroy him or emasculate him.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah, she's good.
Gilligags. The old-fashioned man wants the kind of a wife he can give a few buttons to and have a shirt sewed on. Okay?
You give her a few buttons and then she sews a shirt out of it, kind of, I think.
Or maybe she I think another way of looking at that is maybe he hands her the shirt and the buttons and asks her to sew the buttons on the shirt.
Well, yeah, but that's just straight up.
Yeah, that's too straight up.
It's too straight up misogyny. I think she's saying like most men want like you just hand your wife a handful of buttons. So here, wife, and then that night you should have a shirt magically sewn and sprouted off of those buttons. Maybe.
Yeah. How did you enjoy your vacation, Monty? It was swell, Gilda. No place like England. What did you do there? I looked at my family tree. Did you get hit with any coconuts? And look at the exclamation point. Coconut. So I guess she thinks he's a monkey or something like that. Is that what?
Yeah. Or you're a nut, so of course you look up your family tree and you're going to get hit by a coconut. And yeah, that's good.
Gilligags. A fool and his money are soon parted.
Partied, like party hardy.
Oh, a fool and his money are soon partied.
That's funny. Okay, for 1938, that's what she's saying. She's like, I can take out any guy, go have fun, and he's paying for it. You go, girl. I love her.
Yeah. Again, I think this is kind of a funny one too, in that I get what you were talking about, like and I think this is a one pager, so like she can kind of stand her ground without being nasty.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm seeing the signal bar, and now it went, so means everything should be back there. But
yeah, you're flowing now. No more choppy. It looks good.
Yeah. So all right. Well, yeah. This again, I kind of got a good feeling about this before even going on. That this is possibly going to be a pretty good one to look at there.
Yeah. See what he just wrote? He just added to what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's see what he had to say about it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit to make the... Okay. That's a great saying. The fool and his money are soon partied. Never thought or never heard of it before. Well, yeah, I think most people, and you heard me say it in the other way, a fool and his money are soon parted, which is normally how the saying goes. But
I've never heard that one, and it's original and it's great, and I love it. I'm probably going to start saying that from now on.
A fool and his money are soon partied.
Soon partied, yeah.
Yeah, hilarious. And then when you start saying it, people are going to ask, "Where did you hear that? Where did you see that?" You can tell them. Well, I saw it in a comic from 1938.
Big comics.
Jumbo comics. Yeah. You don't. Well, hey, you want to find stuff out like that out? Hey, you should come check us out on Friday night.
Yeah, exactly. Good thinking. Yeah. Someone buys me a beer at the
bar. We're at an hour and 35. So I guess I could maybe. I don't know if I'll read anything more, but I guess I can breeze through, and if anything catches my eye, maybe.
Sure.
But I think possibly we may only have time for one, maybe at the most two more stories. But those were the three I wanted to get to.
They were good. They're very good. I like this comic. And again, Gilda Gay is awesome, man. She's my girl.
Yeah, we'll probably be stopping in on Sheena and Gilda quite a few times.
Sheena's cool. Yeah, I want to know Sheena's backstory now. So that's a good story too. I like it.
Yeah, we might be doing Jumbo comics more regularly. Like,
Okay, cool.
even though I think these might be considered reprints, but they seem original though to me. Adventures of Tom Sherrill. The ZX. Well, yeah, I guess I should go down unless we decide to actually Spies in Action by Morgan Thomas again. So this is another Will Eisner piece right here.
Cool. Sure
Yeah,
that would be a good one.
Heroes of Sport. Another setup kind of like the Gilda Gay story right there. The formatting there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a text story, Jumbo Inspector Dayton by Geo Thatcher, which I guess would stand for. I think GEO was short for George. I believe.
George, yeah.
George.
Cross Comics just said a fool and his money soon parted is from the book of Proverbs in the Bible, and then he added, I believe.
Yeah, actually, you're right there, Cross. I believe you're right.
Good call. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wilton of the West here, Western type story. And the only reason we're just breezing through this stuff because we know we're kind of towards. I usually just run like 2 hours for these, and we're like at an hour 37, and we still have, of course, this day in each history before we're done.
Yes.
So
yeah.
At least to give us kind of a look to see. Okay. But this is probably one we'll probably, depending upon the content, like with some of the reprint stuff, we usually will do the milestone method. But with stuff that seems a little more original or there's a little bit more depth to it, we usually might read a little bit, or more regularly. So, anyways,
again, I like Jumbo Comics. Big fan. Good stories, good stuff. I know, like, it's different and everything, but it's cool. And
yeah. Well, I don't know if the other issues would have that same issue with that particular
one coloring, but you're still able to see it and read it good. So that's what I like.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's see. We're actually at an hour 38. Let's kind of go through one more. We're just gonna like kind of breeze through it and just if there's anything here that we want to put. Hawk to the Sea, which is a story that was originally over in Quality Cons, but now it's over here. And originally, all these stories were in black and white, but why some of them, again, have that strange color in on Bobby, Puzzle Fun, The Count of Monte Cristo, Jack Kirby. That's another one that I think was done by Jack Kirby. That's a Dennis Collarback from Spencer.
Jake and Jerry Briscoe, Count of Monte Cristo.
And then, of course, we read that one earlier, the Diary of Dr. Hayward. Yeah, we might continue to read those three in particular.
Okay,
the cool. Diary of Dr. I don't know. I don't think they're really connected to one another, but might be interesting to see.
I'll be looking forward to hearing from them,
or to even figure out how they might become connected to one another. After the Sheena story was like 5 pages, it looks like. Mm-hmm. Oh, here's something you would be into.
Look at that, Pete. I know that. I saw a video on that probably in the beginning of this year. That's a big one.
Art.
A Clipper. God, the Clippers are just such beautiful, beautiful girls. Yeah, well, they're girls.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like how you
with ships.
Call it a ship, yeah.
And remember, you asked me about that. I'm like, I don't know the tradition. I looked it up, and it said there was like so many different versions, like that. It's not even. It's just been around for too long.
And this right here is a modern girl, what was considered a modern girl in 1938.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about that too, okay, Gilda Gay, the modern girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
She may have been the women's lib icon of that time,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
There's some more puzzle fun, and of course we already went through the rest of it, but just to get back to the page one there. I mean, I figure I'd give everybody Hunchback of Notre Dame,
Mm-hmm.
and and you saw a couple of titles here, the Hunchback of Notre Dame and Count of Monte Cristo. This was another common practice they would have during this time of anthologies too, in which they would put in like classic literature pieces as well.
Correct. Who was which was the one magazine that would always run Ivanhoe?
Oh, that was one of DC. Well, DC did some of Ivanhoe early on, like
Yeah.
I think it was in New Fun or New Comics.
Yeah, because that's an old classic. That's old classic literature.
The Adventures of Tom and Cheryl right here.
That's how my mom spells her name, which is it's Cheryl with 2 R's and 2 L's, and like not many.
I think in this case it's his last name, but I think from what I understand, that this particular spelling, when used as a first name, is usually masculine. Usually, like women, it's usually either SHERYL or CHERYL.
Yeah. So my mom has the masculine version of it. Which, that's fine.
I actually had a teacher whose first name was Cheryl.
It could be Irish because my mom is
100%
Irish, and the last name is Kinney. So that might be an old world Irish spelling. I'm just throwing out there. I don't know this, but I'm just guessing.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. All right, so I think we're done with reading for tonight.
Okay.
Simply because we're at an hour 43 now.
Sure, you can start rocking the niche.
Yeah. I hope everybody enjoyed the stories that we went through. I hope everybody enjoyed the material we went through tonight. I think it was pretty fun, particularly the Sheena story.
I certainly enjoyed it. Very, very good.
And the Gilda Gay one pager, that was nice too.
Yeah, it was.
So anyways, we got 4 viewers in here, or according to the counter it's 4, but I think it's more like 5 because there's us 2, there's Cross, Woody, and Toys. So I think
before you get into niche, there was a guess taken. V is in. Why do I always do this? V is incorrect. So, still 5 letters open.
Yeah, and Batgoat. Before we get started with niche, Cross was. I don't think Cross was here when you started. So why don't you explain to Cross about the Hangman?
Oh, yeah. So I have my little travel magnetic Hangman board. So whenever Mike steps away, I have a word. I guess the game's over at this point. I always have a word that I block off, and you probably didn't see that, but it has something to do with a very famous person right now that pretty much the whole world knows about. So like the previous themes, words have been creepy, diaper, Taliban, criminal, dummy, fascist, buffoon, traitor, tyrant. Any idea who I'm talking about? That's just the ongoing joke is we have a theme, a certain person, and I always have a word dedicated to that person.
Well, since we're going to start winding down now, Woody just guessed a letter.
Woody's still guessing. E. No. Okay. Well, do you want to get into niche? Yeah, go get into niche. The word tonight was idiot.
Idiot. Okay. All right. So, anyways, So now we're going to start winding down. Batgoat, I hope you'll stick around a few minutes after the show for post game.
Absolutely.
Aside from that, we're at the hour 46 mark, hour 47. So we're going to go ahead and start winding down here. Today
and real quick, toys. It was a light night, but 3 gets toys. His 14th win in the Lulz Trophy tournament. Just outstanding.
Well, if he got here at the beginning, he would have probably had 10 or so by now.
Probably.
Knowing him. And Toys is still trying to guess, even though we
Z. He guesses a Z. Toys.
Sweet. All right. So anyway, so today is Friday.
Let's go, Brandon. That's a good one, Cross. Yeah, he knows the theme.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, so today is Friday, November the 12th. So let me just review before I get started here.
History.
So let's take a look back on this day in each history. I'll remind myself a few things here. Okay. All right. So without no further ado, let's get started then. Let's take a look back on this day in each history, November 12th, 2021. Let's see what else has happened on this date. Let's see. All right, first stop we're going to go back 80 years ago today. 80 years ago, as on this date 80 years ago today, Flash Comics Volume 1, number 25, went on sale on this date back in 1941 for a dime with 64 pages. At the time, Flash, along with, I think, Sensation Comics, basically the All-American brand, were being published under JR Publishing Company at the time during a bit of a schism that happened within DC at that time. Among the characters featured in in this anthology series of the time included the Golden Age Flash, Jay Garrick, the Earth 2 Golden Age Hawkman, Carter Hall, Johnny Thunder and his Thunderbolt, the Whip. I remember his last name was Gaynor, but I can't remember his first name was. And then King Standish. So those are some of but on this date, 80 years ago today, the 25th issue of the first volume of, the only volume of Flash Comics. Nowadays, of course, Flash Comics, I think, is a feature comic where it only features the Flash. But back when it started, it was an anthology.
Okay.
So, cool. And we'll learn more about that when we get to 1941. Obviously, well, I think it'll be might even be as early as 1939, but we'll see, depending on how we get there. All right, so with that, let's continue on with the history. Day in each history. So on this date, 80 years ago. Are you sharing a picture? Oh, no. Never mind. That's me. I somehow got kind of thrown off there for some reason. All right, so the next one is this. On this date, 75 years ago today, Walt Disney Animation gave us Song of the South. Song of the South, a mix of a live-action animated musical drama film from Walt Disney, premiered on this date back in 1946, 75 years ago today. So, and from what I understand, this is supposed to be a classic.
It is. It is. It's not racist. It's showing how storytelling evolved from out of people that were slaves. I don't get how that's racist. But SJWs they have weird brains. They're not into reality.
Have they actually said that this movie is racist?
Oh my gosh, yes. The SJWs over Song of the South. They made Disneyland change their Thunder Mountain ride because they're bad with that one.
Yeah. So on this date, 75 years ago, the world premiere of Song of the South in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia, mind you. That's where they premiered this. Premiered on this Song of the South premiered on this date 75 years ago today. So in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, Uncle Remus stories. I mean, that's based off.
Yeah. Moot comics were anthologies back in the 30s, and yes, you're right. Well, yes, Cross, you're right there, Rick. You're right. And I know this from my own studies, and that's kind of what we're getting into. We're kind of just taking a very deep dive and watching how comics evolved over the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, let's move on to the next piece of niche history. Let's see.
I don't know. Toys is saying he goes all in. I don't know what that means.
You're saying I go all in, or
yeah, but by bringing that up, or maybe because I said it's not racist and SJWs are morons. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, anyways, on this date 20 years ago today, let's see, from the Fleet Center in Boston, Massachusetts, the WWF at the time, now of course known as WWE, held its Monday Night Raw event. In the main event of the night, The Rock defeated William Regal to retain the What?
Sorry, keep going.
WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Also on the night, RVD retained the Hardcore Championship over The Undertaker. The Dudley Boys retained the WCW, actually went to a no contest in a WCW Tag Team Championship match against Albert and Scotty 2 Hotty. The Hardy Boys defeated Booker T and Test for the WWF World Tag Team Championship. And Edge defeated Kurt Angle for the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. So all that happened on this date 20 years ago, in which Raw was coming from the Fleet Center in Boston, Massachusetts. All right. So, and before I get to the last piece of history, you want to explain what was just going on while you were owing and all that?
Yeah, I didn't see the setup that you had there, Toys. So I just saw the punchline and I didn't realize what it was relating to, and now I see it, and I don't know if you'll. It's a typical Toys thing. It's a joke.
Yeah. Okay.
It just surprised me. I was like, "Oh, okay."
All right. So now the last piece of niche history for tonight happened about 10 years ago. Happened 10 years ago. On this date, 10 years ago, the anime OVA Iki Tozen Shigaku Toshi Kapuroku premiered on this date 10 years ago today. It ran for 43 minutes from ARM Studios. So it was released on this date. So the ARM Studio OVA Iki Tozen Shigaku Toshi Kapuroku was released on this date 10 years ago today.
Say that 10 times real fast.
Yeah, no kidding. Don't you just like how, though, I do work real hard to make sure I'm getting a lot of those Japanese pronunciations?
That you're much braver than I. I would not do that.
Yeah. But anyways, all right, guys. Well, I thank everybody for being here tonight. We're at hour 54, so we're coming pretty fast on 2 hours. I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. I hope we can start getting some more people in here, because I really do think that people would start enjoying this stuff if we got more people, more friendly people. Let me make that absolutely clear, because some of us very well know there are some individuals who are not so friendly, who would just love to ruin everything for everybody. But that's enough said about that. So, anyways, guys, thank you all for being here. And as I said, hopefully we can get some more friendly people in here. And until Monday, bye.